Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic. What innocent question that someone asked you, crushed you a little? When will we dig up Dad? Asked by my almost 5-year son. He's never met him as Dad died 3 months before birth. This goes along the question, when will Dad stop being dead? My 4-year-old died. It amazed me how many times little kids, of family friends, have to be reminded. Same here. The hardest part was telling my wife repeatedly, as she was pretty out of it on pain meds, related to the same accident. This broke my heart. My acne was so bad that a co-worker asked if I had been in a car accident or something. That one cut deep. Edit, thanks for silver. That's harsh. I worked at an alternative high school and one of our students had severe acne. He told all his classmates that the football team at his old high school held him down and poured battery acid on his face, which we know wasn't true. His acne became his identity. He tried committing suicide at age 16 by jumping from his mother's car on a highway and suffered TBI. I now work for a non-profit that supports adults with disabilities, and he is a client with my current agency. His acne has cleared up, but he has severe disabilities now from his suicide attempt. It breaks my heart knowing a skin condition caused him so much trauma. Holy shit, the world is a cruel place. Don't get me started. I had total strangers asking me if I ever heard of a certain product for acne. Sweetie, thank you so much. Caring people like you help me feel not alone and make me smile, because they remind me of how many great people I haven't befriended yet exist, but you can be sure I've tried every single thing in this world. I had deep cystic acne since I was 10. The sister of a guy I was dating in college, she was a beautiful natural blonde, asked me out of the blue, on a group date in front of everyone, why I didn't go to a dermatologist. We were both from medical families, so she should have known better than to ask such a question so publicly. I was not allowed to go to a dermatologist until I could pay for it myself, which was kind of hard since I was not permitted to work. When she asked this, I had been going to a dermatologist for 3 years and they had tried everything but Accuta, which at that time they used as a last resort. She didn't believe me when I told her that I had been seeing a dermatologist for 3 years. And you look like that, she said. My mother, of course, another beautiful natural blonde, was not about to cut down on her cigarettes so her ugly daughter could get medical treatment. So I have truly lovely permanent scars to this day, for which my mother always blamed me. The moral of this tale is that doctors' families usually get the worst medical care of anyone. I am older now and a lot less polite about other people's rudeness. But, have you tried this product? It worked for my son/cousin/nephew. A friend looked at me and said, I know we've talked about it before, but how did you break your nose? I've never broken my nose, this is just how it looks. Wow. Owen Wilson. Mom asked me, who are you? When I visited her recently. She has dementia. Mill, who has known me my entire life, recently asked me to remind her what your name is again. Alzheimer's. I guess the only thing to take comfort in is that they aren't suffering. Incredibly difficult for family and friends though. Not a question, but my 8-year-old niece once remarked, you don't laugh anymore. My nephew once asked me, Uncle Fuzro, our son, why do you look so sad, like damn kid? I was playing doctor with a 3-year-old girl once. I had been struggling with depression a lot lately at the time, so when she asked me what was wrong today, I told her sometimes I just get sad. She had a clipboard with a sheet of square paper stickers on it. She nodded thoughtfully, scribbled something on her paper, then ripped off a sticker and stuck it to my shirt, saying, here's a duck for you, he'll make you happy. I still have that little pink duck sticker. I put it inside of my laptop, above the keyboard. He didn't cure shit, but he does make me smile. When me and my dad and my sister were driving to another town to get away from my mom so we could eat without getting yelled at / stuff thrown at us, my sister asked why mommy was so mean, and my dad had to simplify to her level that her mom was an alcoholic. She was 6. Edit, oh shit, this blew up, thanks I guess. Deleted. Oh my gosh. That has to be horrible, but I'm glad it was stopped. I worked in retail when I was younger and people would always be like, oh, do you have any ideas for Father's Day? What did you get your dad? My dad committed suicide when I was 16. They had no way of knowing that, but damn if it didn't hurt. God, this reminds me of a time I was an idiot. I was cashiering and we had some red roses that were pretty popular. I rang up some lad dressed quite nice purchasing the roses and I asked if they were for anyone special, you know. Well no, they were for his recently passed dad's grave. I apologized so hard but he said it was fine and he's doing well, but it was time to change the flowers. Shut me the frick up real quick. Bro, I used to do this also. Asked men buying flowers, you being nice or are you in trouble? Stopped asking once someone actually confirmed they were in trouble. I've lost both my parents now, but mom as a kid. Yes, I'd love to make a Mother's Day card in school a couple of months after she fucking died. Thanks. Fuck. I always thought it was so fucked up to do Mother's Day stuff in school. I am so lucky with my parents, they are alive and awesome, but I had friends whose parents were shitty / dead and always felt so bad during those Mother's Day tributes. When I was 13 my mom got a divorce from a man who I can only refer to as a step monster. I worked all summer to save up money since we didn't have a lot and I was worried we wouldn't have enough to pay the bills. I ended up having a few dollars left over and wanted to buy my mom a gift and she mentioned she needed a new watch for her birthday. I went to the jeweler and got a $100 gold Citizen Evo Drive watch. It was functional and it looked really nice. When I gave it to her, her first response was thanks honey, did it come in silver? I was crushed. Insult to injury, she started dating a guy around the same time and he bought her a crappy silver watch. She ended up wearing his over mine. 18 years later and it still hurts when I think about it. Or as a mom I think what you did was so beautiful and I'm sorry your expectations weren't met. I love that you did that for your mom and if I was your mom I would treasure that watch for the rest of my life. Hopefully one day your mom's eyes will open and she'll see that her children are the most important, most special people on earth. You're a good egg. Me too. I would have treasured that. That's huge and I'm sorry that happened to you. Co-worker innocently asked who does the cooking at your house. I had very recently separated from my wife and was living alone. Chef Boyardee, sometimes Ms. Calendar. If I'm lucky Betty will bring by a treat or two. I also sometimes stop by Aunt Jemima's place for a late breakfast. I stopped talking to the Gortos fisherman when he started calling me a gay fish. Rough night last night. Usually asked with a big smile. I was asked that all the time when I was younger because I had a really obvious tremor. Thing is, I did not drink or do drugs at all and I had no idea what was wrong with me. I was eventually diagnosed with Graves' disease and treated for it, but I still have a bit of a tremor. I had hypothyroidism, then underwent radioactive iodine treatment and am now hypothyroid. My lips were often blue and I was always pale and cold with sunken-looking eyes until we got my medicine on track. People asked me all the time if I was sick because I looked like I was dying. Thyroid shit really fucks you up, and when you try to explain it, no one knows what a thyroid even is. How are you handling everything? My notary public who also happens to be my boss's boss while authorizing my divorce paperwork. Completing a divorce packet with no help from an attorney can be a real pain in the ass, but at least it kept me focused on the bureaucratic bullshit nonsense part of it rather than the fact that my 9-year marriage was ending. Turned out that as soon as someone asked me sincerely how I was doing, the answer was not at all well. I went back to my desk and had a panic attack. She gets half of that panic attack, you know. LMAO I wish. How's your brother doing? Haven't seen him in a little while. He passed away 2 years ago. That wasn't very fun. Edit, I appreciate everybody reaching out to me, it means a lot. Edit 2, I'll add to my story further by saying a close second place would be. Why wasn't your dad at your brother's funeral? Life sucks sometimes. There's an asshole in my neighborhood that asks about my deceased father sometimes. I really hope that man has dementia. Edit, whoosh, I wasn't expecting so many replies. I don't wish he has dementia, I'd rather think he has it because it's super cruel to ask that more than once. He is old, yeah, but he does a normal life just like always and seems perfectly healthy. I know his daughters and they wouldn't leave their father alone if he had dementia. He is probably an actual asshole, but the chances of him asking me this again are very low due to the fact that I actively avoid him because I hate his guts. Do you have dementia? I don't know. Why don't you ever go out? Well, because I don't have anyone to go out with. Damn. Go out anyway. It's nice outside. The fall colors are starting to come in. My 5-year-old cousin asked me where Grandpa was when we were getting ready to head to his funeral. Everyone went silent and we just kind of stared at each other until my dad managed to distract her. It was brutal. Edit. Based off of some of the comments here, I feel like I should elaborate on this. This was the first family death I've experienced, so I barely knew what to say to older children, much less a 5-year-old. We didn't want to tell her anything because we didn't know what her parents told her, so we felt like it was best to change the subject. That being said, watching children react to seeing the body at a funeral is probably one of the worst feelings I've ever experienced. He'll meet us there, kiddo. My 5-year-old nephew did this to my grandma at my grandpa's funeral. Asked her, "Did Grandpa die?" It was an innocent question and he was genuinely curious, and I guess no one had talked to him about it. My grandma hugged him and said, "Yes, sweetie, he died." In my experience with a 4.5-year-old, this approach is correct. Trying to say someone is sleeping and won't wake up is dangerous to the child's emotions. I told my son that his Mimi died. She was very old and she was ready to live with God in heaven. We are Catholic. Trying to say things like, "they went away" or "they went to sleep," I think can cause more harm than good. People, including young kids, want to be told the truth. IMO The best approach is to be real with those who can at least somewhat grasp the concept.